On paper, Isafjordur, Iceland is a small, quiet fishing town that's good for going somewhere else. What if we stayed put? No tour, no problem. Check out what we discovered. I'm Troy, and this is the Port Lowdown. Isafjordur is in northwest Iceland in an area known as the Westfjords, a rugged and isolated region known for its numerous fjords, of course. For this reason, the common advice is to get out and get a tour. Some of the most popular excursions from here are Dynjandi Waterfall, Vigur Island, where bird watching is king, and up-teen glacier fjord sailings and adventure excursions. But we didn't want to spend the time and money on a tour, so we stayed behind to explore the town. Isafjordur is small. The town is mostly flat at the port and town center, making this highly walkable. The dock is next to the town center in an industrial area. Two ships can line up at the in-progress dock, although ships also tender in. I can't wait to see this all completed, hopefully with a snazzy terminal. Just before the dock exit is this must-visit tourist info hut. There's lots of info to take in here. Lots of local tour operators advertise here. Like, a lot. All this points to the fact that you definitely have lots and lots of independent tour options here, which you can pre-book or seek out the flyers like this. Have you guys tried one of these? If nothing else, there are chairs here to make a nice rendezvous with your fellow cruisers, and a shelter from the often cold weather. Speaking of which, bundle up and expect cold winds and possible rain. It's Iceland. Walking out, the parking lot is jammed not just with ship tour buses, but independent tour operators, including taxi guides. Let's go over the transport options. There's no rideshare services here. In fact, there's none in the whole of Iceland. Taxis here are mostly pre-booked for tours to the nearby waterfalls and such. Their ho-ho bus service is definitely an option. The map is here, and it goes to a few outlying areas close to town. Sort of that happy medium between right in town and just far enough to need a bus, but not too far away. If that makes sense. The booth seems to need some love, so why not visit? I also noticed some scooters for rent via the Hopp app. Although I saw some bikes here, you need to walk into town for a bike rental. Seems to me if you have bike rental right here at the port, you do bang up business. Hell, I'd scoop one up right off the ship. More on that in a sec. Also in this area, you have your standard and much welcome town map, and an opportunity to learn a little Icelandic. Last, there are public toilets here just a few minutes walk away here. Clean and decent. Now for my son and I, we decided to make a loop heading to town, going north to the facing hillside for a hike. We chose a more industrial route to town, heading east which faces a tiny marina, which is a jumping off point for whale watching, etc., and some glimpses of the fishing industry in action. Of course, take time to take in some details of a vibrant, small community. There's no Diamonds International, sanitized for your enjoyment here. The buildings are noted for their color and corrugated tin roofs, built by fishing merchants in the 18th and 19th century. And cats. For some reason, we saw a lot of cats. Now just a short walk gets you to the town center and our first local recommendation, Fjord Hub Bike Rental, who has a good selection of gravel bikes, full suspension mountain bikes, city bikes, and hard rail mountain bikes. Almost all were pre-booked by the time we got there, so get on their website to reserve. And the staff is super friendly. I can recommend biking routes for you.
Typically, the most common ride anyone does, whether it's on a gravel bike or anything else, is to ride from Isafjordur here over to Brugghus on the old road.
Right.
It's just, there's no cars allowed on that because it's closed when the tunnel opened in 2010.
Right.
It's closed to vehicles, so it's essentially like a bike path.
Just a block away, the Rainbow Path marks the center of town. Here you find stores, food, street art, and its Islands Banky ATM. Also in the square is the Hornstrandir Visitor Center, where Iceland's environmental agency has displays about the country's northernmost peninsula. It's free and has some interesting and beautiful displays, as well as VR, which is the lazy man's ultimate tour of Iceland's rugged landscape. Just beyond the town square is the local pharmacy, more food, lovely pastries, and this big Netto grocery store, where there's also a small food court and local candies. Now we were told that these were the local brand. Public toilets here too, not just inside, but also around the corner outside in this building. Just as a reminder, Iceland water is very clean, so feel free to fill up your bottles in the bathrooms. Just don't tell anyone I told you so. And we noticed this hearse. Who died? Oh, this is the delivery car for Thai Tawi, the local Thai restaurant. Somehow, local Iceland Thai restaurant that has a hearse wouldn't sell it for most visitors, but hey, I'd try it. So keep walking north towards this really nice park. The park itself sports a beautiful sculpture honoring fishermen who died at sea. There's a local modern church here, one of the few in Iceland, with a pretty amazing bird sculpture inside. This cool play area with outside trampoline and a hammock. A hammock! And this old hospital that is now a library and cultural center. Now don't skip this one. It's quite beautiful inside with some interesting rotating exhibits, plus more bathrooms. And elegant seating rooms to rest, sit, and reflect. By the way, if you enjoy exploring on your own while cruising, hit us up with a like and subscribe. Weekly videos on ports, ship tours, and tips. Now let's hike. This one is easy access. It just takes a bit of uphill climbing. Take this street straight up from the park. After about 5 to 10 minutes, you'll reach this entrance to the trail. And more cats. Past the abundant lupins and selfie opportunities, and you'll reach the stairs to the observation deck. This rock trail takes you further, and it's well worth the effort. Just be mindful of the large, loose rocks. I saw one hiker fall on these, so take your time. Once at the top, soak in the amazing view of the whole town. You can also channel your inner billy goat and keep climbing up the rocks. There's a peace and beauty up here that makes it a great singular excursion on its own, mostly because you have the option to keep going. Coming back down, you can take this path in the other direction to explore even further. Point is, you're never too far away from civilization. I'd give this about an hour minimum to soak it all in and come back. Walking back, we followed the water along the harbor to a few more useful points of interest. This liquor store, which is a chain throughout Iceland. Local brews included, of course. Across the street, there is this cool thrift store. Lots and lots of clothing. If you strike up a conversation with the friendly staff, you can also get a dose of local history, or at least some insights to the community. Just a few blocks from here is the Westfjords History Museum. It details the lives of local fishermen through some interesting historic homes, and some notable collections, such as their preserved and seaworthy boats and accordion collection, some 190 on display. The bathroom here is free. Pretty cool to walk around and explore the area behind the buildings too, with some sweeping views of the harbor. Finally, walking back to the ship, you'll pass the region's only local brewery, Dokkan Brugghus, which is also a restaurant and gathering place for most of your fellow cruisers. Nothing more relaxing than resting from the day with a drink and a view of the ship. Our brief exploration of Isafjordur definitely wasn't dull. In fact, the walk around town and the hike up the hill made for a really gratifying day. Head for the hills, but enjoy the walk to get there. Leave us a comment and let us know your experience here. We would love to hear from you.